Hello, it's Mark here from GreenTreeGames.com, online game store and blog. I'm going to be doing a bit of an overview of the game Tahiti from Minion Games, which is currently on Kickstarter. It's very near to finishing that Kickstarter run, but it's doing very well. They sent through a print and play version, so we could have a bit of a look at it and do a video for you all. So here it is. So it's a game for 2 to 4 players. It's quite light and fun, it's quite easy, but it's also got quite a bit of strategy behind it as well. So I thought I'd give you a bit of an overview as to how it plays, and also look at some of the strategies potentially. So this is the starting setup. So this is set up for 2 players in a little demo game. If you set it up for more players, it just has different starting islands. You have more islands to begin with, and we've got some more starting tiles. Your little starting tiles have a little butterfly on, so you know. So there we go. And each island has already been stocked with my makeshift cubes that I've made for the print and play version. Obviously, you get, if you funded this and you get the full game, you get actual little wooden blocks instead of my makeshift ones. Little makeshift canoes that I've made. Probably float them, I imagine. And a little goddess symbol. We've got 2 piles of tiles here that we'll draw from. They're just random piles that have been halved. Depletion tokens. We'll get into those in a little bit. Player mats, again, show you a bit more of those once we get going. And tub of resources. Okay, so the game, the turn, relatively straightforward. It starts off with the exploration phase. The exploration phase, you explore and you build more of the map out. So you start off by taking the little goddess figure. You move it 1 tile, and then wherever that tile lands, you can place new tiles around that tile. It's a bit of a clever mechanic because it means you're not just putting tiles willy-nilly. You have to move that token and then place the tiles around that. So let's go through for the first turn. So we'll say we're red. We've moved the goddess token to there, and we can choose the top tile from the pile. Now let's zip over to here. At the start of the game, you choose your favourite food resource types, and it's at random. As you can see, red, I'm going to favour banana, and the green thing, not entirely sure what that is. Should have found out, but anyway, green we'll call it for the purpose of this demonstration. So, if at the end of the game, if I have more green or yellow than anybody else, then I get more points. So it's important that I go for those. So do I have that as an option? Yes. So I would want that. So now, when you place these, you can place them in any direction you want, and as you can see, some of the sides have these reef graphics on. Now, we'll get into it in a bit more detail when we start to move, but basically, when you place it, you want to make sure that you don't box yourself in with these reefs, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. So anyway, just to start off, we'll put that there. Brilliant. There we go. Excellent. That is the exploration phase. Then, once you've done that, it's the bounty phase. You pick 3 resource counters without looking, and then you place them on the board anywhere where there is an open resource square. It's got a match colour, so I've got a yellow one there for the banana. There we go. But I don't have any pink ones open. Now, a little tactic: if there's more than one place you can put it, you can put these wherever. So say I had a pink one over here and one over there and they were empty, I was closer to here, I'd want to place these close to me because you can choose, but you do have to place them all. So That's the bounty phase. The next phase is the action phase, where you get to do stuff, and this is where this clever mechanic kicks in. Where, if we have a if we have a quick look at the player map, player card here, we've got a little diagram of a canoe here. Now, the squares are how many resources you can carry, and the little circles are how many people paddling the canoe, which represents how many actions you can take. So, for example, if we were to fill the canoe up, there we go, and if we were to fill the canoe up with resources, the more resources we have in there, the less rowers we have uncovered, so the less actions. So we'd only have 2 actions there. They would have 3 actions. So it's a bit of a gamble. The more you have, the less you can do. So that's quite clever. So you can get four actions. It costs an action to move. Boop. It costs an action to load your boat per cube. So I could go 1, 2, 3, 4 and get those 2. Put them on my sheet. There we go. And then that will be my turn over. It also, if you manage to get back to your island, to your home island, it costs 1 action to unload. I'll show that in a minute. So there we go. So let's say I've done that. So we're on to the next person's turn. The turns go pretty quick, to be honest. Doesn't take too long. So the next person would move. See, we don't have to move the goddess. We can leave it there. So I'm going to have the option of leaving it there, and I'm going to pick. Purple needs pink and yellow. All pretty much the same. So we go with pink. And let's have a look. See, put it there. Now, if you notice, we don't just automatically fill these with resources. It depends on what we pull on the bounty phase. So exploration phase done. Bounty phase, I'll pick 3. And if you notice they're like kind of an orangey colour. I didn't have white. They should be white. They represent fish. I'll tell you about that in a minute. So there's no fish, and I'll tell you why in a second. But there is a pink one, so we'll put the pink one there. Super. So now then, I can go 1, 2, same kind of deal, I think. 3, 4. Put these on my boat. Now, something to mention with the boat: you can have all of one colour, or one of each colour with the resource, but you can't mix and match. So there's 5 potential colours, so you can have one of each or all of one. And that's quite clever, and I'll tell you why right now. Because it's now the red person's turn, so we'll do it properly. We'll have another exploration phase. We'll pull one of these. There we go, put that there. And we'll have another 3 for the bounty, which resulted in just 1 green one there. Brilliant, right, so now my red little boat, I want to get it home and I want to unload all of my goodies. I could try and get some more, or I could just get them home and score them. Now, I can either go 1, 2, and then spend my 3rd action to unload, but I've had to go all the way around there and I've wasted an action. Or I could gamble, go over the reef to here, so 1, 2 and unload, and still have 2 more actions. But if you go over the reef, there's a chance you might lose your cargo, and the way that works is for every reef that you cross, you have to pull a resource token out. If that resource token matches one that's in your canoe, you lose it out of your canoe. And this is where this other mechanic kicks in. If you have one of each colour on there, there's more chance of you pulling, in theory, that colour from the pot. So it's a gamble. So let's say I'm a gambling man. I'll go over there. I'll pull 2 resources because I'm going over 2 reefs to see if they match what I've got. So I've got a brown and a green. Ooh, a brown. So I'll lose the brown on the reef. smash. But I've got home, I can unload my boat, I'll put it on my little score track here, and as you can see, the more you have, the more you score. If at the end of the game, if you have a column, you get the appropriate points there as well. If you have the most of any one type and it's on your favourites, you get more points, +5 for having the most, I think, and +3 for having the second. That's the scoring. Now, there's one thing I haven't mentioned here is fishing. So let's say I went 1, 2 unloaded. I could go 3 to another tile. Now, any tile. I could go 3 to here, and I could fish. Fishing is dead simple. All you do is you pick 2 cubes out of the box at random. If one of them's a fish, you can keep it. It's not a fish, so that didn't work. So at that point, I get no fish. Now, if you notice what I did there as well, reefs, when you're moving through them with no cubes, it doesn't matter because you've got nothing to lose. So that's quite clever in that once you've unloaded, you can go straight out to whatever island you want to get those cubes. You've then got to work out and navigate your way back to the best path you can take to not lose those resource cubes. So when you're placing these tiles, whereabouts you put those reefs can be very, very important. So that's where the strategy comes into it. So anyway, how long does the game last? It lasts until you've placed all the tiles, and then islands start to deplete. So what happens is, I won't place them all, I won't go through a full game, but as the goddess moves around and you place more and more tiles and the map gets bigger and bigger, once all the tiles are placed, you then, instead of placing new tiles at the start of the turn, at the end of the turn, instead of having an exploration phase, you have a depletion phase. And a depletion phase is these little tokens here. And they're at random because some of these have fishes on. I'll show you. That's a big old fish. So what you do is at the end of the turn, you pick a random depletion. Any island that has run out of resources, you put the depletion on, and that means that cannot produce any more resources. Summer's been and gone, winter's on its way, and there's no more harvesting. Also at this point, once all the tiles have been placed and you put in the depletion tokens down, the goddess no longer has any influence. It also means that the bounty phase at the beginning, instead of getting 3 tokens, you only get 2 tokens. So the resources start to run out, so it's a bit of a grab for resources at that point. If you get a fish, what it means is it's still depleted. It's just if you decide to fish there, you pick 3 instead of 2 fishes, which means there's more chance of getting fish. Now, all the cubes. Now, in the proper version of this, you have bags. Yeah, it comes in a nice cloth bag, so you wouldn't see these in theory. But looking on the board, looking at the player cards that are open, you can gauge roughly how many cubes are left to grab from the resource pile. So if there's not a lot of fish out there, in here on the scorecards, you have more chance of pulling a fish. So then you might as well go fishing and have the most fish. And that's relevant because they sort of drive you to do a bit of fishing, because if you go through the game with no fish, you're at a minus already. So it does sort of drive you to try and do a bit of fishing. But even when it comes to going over the reefs and trying not to lose the cubes that you have, it can be another good tactic is to look what other people have, to see what's on the cards and to see what's out on the map. Because the more that are out, the less chance they're going to be in here, and the less chance you have of pulling them and losing them potentially. So that's another observation of the gameplay. And pretty much that's it. What happens is you keep playing each round. You keep putting the depletion tokens down as tiles are depleted. When there's I think it's 4 tiles left undepleted, that sort of marks the end of the game. So whoever you got to make sure that everybody has an equal number of turns. So if at the end of somebody's turn there's 4 tiles left undepleted, you make sure you finish the round and everybody has an equal number of turns. Then, if you've got anything on your boat, you get to score it. So there is like a little bit of a last minute grab potentially at the end of the game, and then you add the scores up and see who's won. And that's about it. It's a very good game. It's very, very quick. It's very, very simple, but you can also have a little bit of strategy as well. You can also have a little bit of thinking behind it. So there we go. So it's on Kickstarter now. I think currently there's a few days left to go. They're into the stretch goals. They're doing quite well with it, and hopefully, it'll go retail and do well. So thank you for watching. I hope that's been good, and I will see you later. Have a look at the website www.grimtreegames.com. We're on Twitter and we're on Facebook. So I'll see you there. Cheers, bye.